Hello. About 2 or 3 years ago, I made a particular video about what I think happened to the parent of an Octonauts character. But in recent years, Octonauts has been coming out with more episodes, more content, and my thoughts sort of changed. But then I also realized there's another Octonaut who only has one parent. At least known parent, because we see this parent. So the title of this video speaks for itself. Who/where is Peso's dad and Tweak's mom? If you don't know who I am, what's going on everybody? It's your girl Eugen. I'm an autistic music artist, and when I'm not making music, I like to make videos about my special interests like Octonauts. If you want to support this autistic creator, consider subscribing to my channel and following me on all my social media platforms. And without further ado, let's get started. We first see Peso's mother in the episode The Oarfish. Well, she only makes a very brief appearance. She's wishing her sons the best as they are together and Pinto is visiting the octopod. She's a little bit worried, but she trusts Peso that he'll take care of Pinto. So as you can see, Peso's mom is a bit of a worrywart, but she also has a little bit of confidence in her eldest son. She appears again in the special episode Great Penguin Race. She and Pinto are excited for the Great Penguin Race. However, because the penguin Hugo has been undefeated, they couldn't find a penguin to compete against him. Peso's mother and Pinto decide to sign Peso up to take on Hugo. We see Peso's mother being a worrywart again. There's nothing wrong with that. She's always worried about her kids doing the most extreme things, and I honestly get why, because when you're a parent in that situation, you always feel like you have to be on a lookout when your kids are doing the most craziest things. When Peso wins the race, she is ultimately proud of him, and she gets all emotional and teary-eyed. Even though she's not the most complex character, she's still a solid character. So where's Peso's dad? Well, it is widely known across the fandom and in the Octonauts canon that Peso has a lot of cousins. His cousins are basically all these different species of penguins, but his dad is never mentioned. To be honest, I don't really think this needs a theory that much. The difference between an absent father and an absent mother, there is kind of a big difference. Maybe Peso's father didn't want to be a father, and he just left her. Another theory I have has something to do with Peso's profession being a medic. Peso's father probably passed away from an illness, and Peso was very, very young, but he was still old enough to know what the D word was. So he decided to become a medic so that he can help people because he wasn't able to help his father. Or maybe his father was a medic. Or maybe here's another theory. Maybe Peso's mother was going to medical school, but she had to drop out because she had to take care of her kids after her husband. And so Peso decides to become a medic so he can live out his mother's dreams. But yeah, I think that's all I got for Peso's dad and what I think happened to him. So let's move on to what happened to Tweak's mother. Some parts of this theory have been changed up due to the recent episodes coming out annually. We're all familiar with Ranger Marsh. I've talked about him so many times on this channel. You can watch some of my Octonauts videos and you'll get a sense of who he is. So I'm gonna keep his description brief here. He's Tweak's dad. He's a park ranger from the Everglades. Tweak grew up with him in the Everglades, and he has kind of trained her to track and hunt like a wild rabbit should. He's not really into modern high-tech gadgets and gizmos and has a hard time connecting to his daughter and trying to be hip with the kids because of that. But he's currently going through an arc where he has to learn to, accept it and try to connect with the youngins, if you may, without having to sacrifice the old-fashioned ways and what makes him who he is. Now, I did mention in my Tweak's Mom theory video that one of my theories was that she in a wildfire, because wildfires are a very serious hazard, but they're also good for the Everglades. They strike the dry plants and make room for new fresh ones. I kind of threw out that theory because if it's good for the environment, then maybe I shouldn't blame it on the wildfire. Another theory that I had in the video was that Marsh has an aversion to modern technology and the high-tech gadgets and gizmos because modern technology is his wife. In this theory, Tweak's mother was driving in a high-tech vehicle in a storm with all three of them in the vehicle, and then the storm caused her to swerve and roll off course and then crashing the vehicle. Tweak hit her head so hard in the crash that she doesn't remember her mother that much anymore. And ultimately her mother didn't survive. And so Marsh had to take matters into his own hands and just bring her what he knows, and has began to despise modern technology and sort of continues to despise it because of what happened on that day. Now, here is where the story gets updated, with the inclusion of Bud and the Beavers, Eve and Steve. According to Tweak, Bud's parents, Eve and Steve, had taught her how to build when she was just a little bunny. And it makes total sense that they were the ones to teach her about building because they're beavers, but also because Marsh is a tracker and a hunter who prefers to do things the old-fashioned way, so it wouldn't make sense for him to teach her. And also because of his aversion to the gadgets and gizmos. So here's how I'm going to expand the theory. Tweak's mother actually knew Eve and Steve when they were still young. Steve and Eve would teach her mother about engineering and building, and her mother would help them with certain projects. So she was kind of like the third wheel of Eve and Steve, but a good third wheel. She was their friend, and maybe, just maybe, when Tweak was born, her mother would visit Eve and Steve, and Eve and Steve would teach Tweak about building and engineering, just like how they taught her mother. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. Sorry this video was really short, but there wasn't really anything else I could do. But let me know what you think about my theories on Peso's dad and Tweak's mom, what I think happened to them and who I think they were. If you like this video, please leave a like and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Also, let me know your personal theories in the comments. Is it similar to mine? Is it different than mine? What do you personally think? Let me know in the comments, okay? We can share our theories together in unison. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video and for all the support. Until then, this is your girl Eugen, signing off. Peace.